Good morning and welcome to the City of Monterey Park annual observance of Patriot Day. Patriot Day is a solemn observance in the United States held annually on September 11th to honor the memory of nearly 3,000 victims who lost their lives in the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001. The day recognizes the courage and sacrifice of the first responders and the resilience of the American people in face of such tragedy. Patriot Day is a time for reflection, remembrance, and unity as the nation comes together to remember those lost and honor those who continue to serve and protect. I am Chris Thompson, Fire Chief, and I will serve as your Master of Ceremonies for today's ceremony. To begin the ceremony, I would like to ask the Color Guard of the Monterey Park Police Department to present colors.
Mark time. March. Group. Halt. Left. Face. Honor guard. Present. Colors.
Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor guard. Order. Colors. Outward. Face. Forward. March. Honor guard. Post. Colors. Present. Arms. Order. Arms. Outward. Face. Forward. March.
Now I would like to ask a representative of the Monterey Park Police Department and the Monterey Park Fire Department to place the memorial wreath. The memorial wreath is a remembrance of those who perished as a result of the tragic events of September 11, 2001. Now to correspond with the attacks at 8:46 a.m., the time the first plane, American Airlines Flight 11, struck the North Tower of the World Trade Center, please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. I would like to introduce a number of dignitaries that have joined us today. We have Mayor Pro Tem Vin Go. We have Councilmember Yvonne Yu, Councilmember Henry Lowe, and then from the LA County Assessor's Office, we have Candy Ng. Mayor Pro Tem, you want to come up and say a few words?
Thank you, Chief. As we gather today, we're reminded of the patriotism and the sacrifices many have put forth in order for us to be here today. We will always remember 9/11. If you think about the people who actually lived through 9/11, 2001, we all knew where we were that day. That's because of the impact it has on us. So we continue to move forward. This day is of memorial and celebration. Why celebration? Because it is a day of celebration for hope and faith. The faith that we have in the first responders, of the people who serve our community, serve our great nation, to keep being there and fighting for us. And of hope that our future generations are always, always going to be better because of people, the first responders, the patriots, all those who have sacrificed to make this country a great nation will continue to do so, so that our future is better, way better than we will ever be before. With that, I'm going to pass on the next message to Councilmember Yvonne Yu.
Hi, this is Councilmember Yvonne Yu. I want to thank everyone for taking time for your busy schedule to join us in honoring the spirit of the Patriot Day. The people who die for our country, they deserve the highest respect and honor, especially for those who fought on the plane with terrorists to avoid further attack to our Capitol building, especially for those who rushed back to the Twin Tower and saved people's lives. For those who died for our country, they all deserve the highest respect and honor and will always be remembered by all of us. So let's be brave. Let's help people around us. Let's save someone's life. And let's fight for what we believe in. Let's be a patriot. Thank you. And next, I would like to introduce Councilmember Lowe to say a few words.
Thank you, Councilmember Yu. Before I begin, I also want to acknowledge in the audience former mayor, former assembly member, and now San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water Board member, Mr. Mike Ng. Thank you for joining us. You know, it's hard to believe that it has now been 23 years since that horrific day. And, you know, there are moments in history, such as the horrendous attacks of 9/11, that are always seared into our memory. And for me, you know, I often share that on 9/11 in 2001, at the time I was a staffer at a field office for a state senator. And I remember that morning getting phone calls from people asking, how can I help? You know, this has been a tragedy. What can we do to help the victims, the first responders, the families of the victims? You know, so certainly you saw a lot of patriotism that day because it was a moment in which we came together. But I also remember on that day, again, I worked in a field office for a state senator, and, you know, oftentimes we were getting phone calls from everywhere. We were also getting phone calls from a lot of people who said, you know, this is what happens when you let immigrants in this country. This is what happens when, you know, when we allow anyone to come in, and this is unacceptable. But what was unacceptable was to hear xenophobia, racism, Islamophobia on that day. And that really was, I think, the goal of the terrorists. The terrorists were to instill terror in this nation, but to divide us. Luckily, as a nation, you know, we have shown on that day, during that tragedy, time and time again in times of tragedy, that as Americans, we come together. We're united. And because it has now been over 20 years, we have to remember, you know, one of the main lessons. And one of the lessons was that during that terrorist attack, people tried to divide this country. And we cannot ever allow terrorists, cowards, to terrorize, to divide us, because as Americans, we are better than that. And only by being united, by supporting our communities, supporting our first responders, our fire, our police, those who work in service community, those who are neighbors, only by being united that we will always overcome all our ordeals. And so on this 23rd Patriot Day, I thank everyone for coming, and let's always remember the lessons of 9/11, and let us move forward stronger as a unified community. Thank you. Oh, is string selected? No? Oh, okay.
This year, as we honor all those that lost their lives in the heartbreaking attacks of September 11th, and all those who made the ultimate sacrifice in the years follow, staff from fire, police, and recreation department have selected a fallen first responder that they will share their life story in commemoration of the Patriots Day. From the fire department, Battalion Chief Rob DeRosa will be sharing the story of a firefighter who lost their life during September 11th attack.
Good morning, everyone. Today, we gather to remember and honor the life of John P. Williamson, a courageous firefighter who made the ultimate sacrifice on September 11th, 2001. John Williamson, at 46 years old, served as a battalion chief for the FDNY, leading Battalion 6 with dedication and bravery. Like many of his colleagues, John never hesitated when duty called. He exemplified the selflessness and valor that define our firefighters. On that fateful day, John, like so many others, rushed into danger without hesitation. He didn't know it would be his last time leaving the firehouse. His commitment to service and protecting others defined his life and legacy. As we reflect on John's life and sacrifice, we are reminded of the extraordinary courage and resilience of our firefighters. Every day, they face unknown dangers, answering the call to protect our communities. They leave their homes, families, and loved ones uncertain if they will return. Yet they go, driven by duty, honor, and a deep sense of service, traits John embodied throughout his career. His courage continues to inspire all who follow in his footsteps and those who remember his sacrifice. Today, as we honor John P. Williamson and all the fallen heroes of September 11th, let us also salute the bravery of our current firefighters. They carry forward John's legacy, ensuring that his spirit of service and sacrifice lives on in every act of bravery and every life saved. Thank you.
From the Monterey Park Police Department, we have Police Officer Cedric Gonzalez will be sharing the story of a police officer who perished during the September 11th attacks.
Thank you, Chief. Today I'd like to talk about Robert Fazio Jr. On September 11th, a total of 72 brave law enforcement officers perished. One of those brave officers that I would like to talk to you about today is Officer Robert Fazio Jr. On the morning of September 11th, Officer Fazio responded to the World Trade Center, unknown of what was happening during the attacks. Upon responding to the World Trade Center, reports stated that Officer Fazio's final actions were him attempting to rescue trapped victims inside of the North Tower. He unfortunately and tragically lost his life at the age of 38 trying to save others. Officer Fazio served with the New York City Police Department for a total of 17 years and was assigned to the 13th precinct at the time. He was awarded the New York City's Department Medal of Honor for his selfless bravery and heroic actions, and is survived by his parents and his sister today. There are a few individuals who are willing to selflessly put their lives before others, and even fewer who run towards the sound of chaos into the unknown. Officer Fazio was one of those few individuals, and for that he is remembered and honored as a hero.
And Christina Altori, Recreation Manager, will speak on a civilian story.
Hello and good morning. I'm here to talk on behalf of the civilians that acted that day. Civilians, a lot of like you and I. And the civilian I'm going to tell you about is about Mark Bingham. On Tuesday morning, September 11th, 2001, the U.S. came under attack when two planes crashed into the Twin Towers at the World Trade Center in New York. Another plane plowed into the Pentagon. The fourth plane, United Flight 93, en route from Newark, New Jersey to San Francisco, was the only aircraft not to hit its intended target because of the actions of the 40 passengers and crew aboard the plane. This effort was led by Tom Burnett, Todd Beamer, Jeremy Glick, and Bay Area executive and star rugby athlete Mark Bingham, who left a legacy both on and off the field. Mark Bingham, a native Northern Californian, was a Los Gatos high school rugby captain, a former collegiate rugby champion at the University of California, Berkeley. Bingham was also a founder and valued teammate of the San Francisco Fog, a gay and inclusive rugby club. Bingham was in the process of establishing a new office on the East Coast for his California-based public relations firm at the time of this incident. On the morning of September 11th, Bingham overslept and nearly missed his flight. He was the last passenger to board United Flight 93. Soon the attacks would begin with hijackers who took over cockpits and threatened passengers with box cutters and claims of bombs on board. The hijackers turned planes full of fuel into weapons of mass destruction. On Flight 93, some of the passengers called loved ones to tell that they've been hijacked, and their family and friends told them about the attacks on the Twin Towers and the Pentagon. The passengers and crew then took a vote and formed a plan to wrest control of the plane from the hijackers. It was a team effort. Bingham was front and center along with 3 other businessmen who were athletes, Tom Burnett, Todd Beamer, and Jeremy Glick. These heroes faced the terrorist threats head on as they devised a plan to take over the plane. Flight recordings documented how the passengers rushed the cockpit door. The hijackers decided to abort the mission, which was to plow into the U.S. Capitol building where the nation's legislators were in session. Because of the quick, determined actions of the passengers and crew, Flight 93 was the only one of 4 hijacked aircraft that failed to reach the terrorists' intended target for that day. I'm with you. That's what you say in rugby, but it embodied everything that Mark was about. He couldn't tolerate unfairness or injustice, and he wasn't afraid to stand up for the people that he loved. Bingham's friends had a premonition. They said everyone who knew Mark came to the same conclusion before there were any stories about what the passengers did. And that was beyond any shadow of a doubt, that Mark did something because that was who he was to the bone. Mark's impact reverberates not only as an American hero, but also as an icon in the gay community. Mark Bingham is honored with the Bingham Cup, the largest inclusive gay rugby tournament in the world. He was awarded the Arthur Ashe Courage Award, the Medal of Heroism, the Congressional Gold Medal, and the U.S. Rugby Foundation's Chairman Award. University of California, Berkeley created an annual award called the Mark Bingham Award for Excellence in Achievement and has a frame displayed name of Mark Bingham in the Doc Hudson Field House at the University of California, Berkeley campus. All 44 people died, including the 4 hijackers. Mark Bingham and the brave men and women on board Flight 93 saved countless of other lives that day. Their story today is told at the National Park's Flight 93 Memorial in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Just amazing stories of American patriotism. We will close our time of remembrance with a fire service tradition that dates back to the mid-1800s. Long before the radios or cell phones, fire alarms and daily announcements were sent from headquarters to firehouses by a system of bell commands and telegraph. When a firefighter died in the line of duty, headquarters would transmit in a series of 4 with 5 bell strikes each. This custom has continued through the years to this day in its form of rendering final honors to departed comrades. In the fire service, this is known as striking of the 4 5s. I would like everyone to rise for the striking of the 4 5s by the Monterey Park Fire Department. Thank you, David. I would like to thank all the speakers that came out today and everyone that came out with the Monterey Park Fire Department, Police Department, and city personnel. We'd like to thank you all for continuing to support us, support the city, and support your nation of patriots. We will close the ceremony by the bagpipe player of this morning. Thank you for coming.